necessarily mean you're not happy.
But it might indicate that you're not healthy.
Yeah, it's been the scourge of my life, but...
And mine.
Yeah, we've all been through it, but someone who's had a wake-up call and taken absolutely drastic action is Mikey Robins. He started at 147 kilos.
Ooh.
And man, take a look at this spunk now. Would you welcome Mikey Robins?
So, Libbi and I are old friends, and you haven't seen me for a while, have you, darling?
I haven't seen you. Please don't tell me you weigh less than me.
Well, I actually have to pick you up because you said I'd lost 57 kilos, and that's
47. 47.
No,
57. He was 147.
No, I've lost 62.
Oh my God.
Or as I like to
That's me. You lost me.
No, yeah. Or as I like to call it, two supermodels. Yeah, no, I was 100. I was around about 150 the day of the surgery, and this morning when I jumped on the scales, I was 88.5. So I'll call that 62.
Yeah, you do weigh more than me, so I'm absolutely wrapped. But Mikey, tell me, we were talking like the day that you, I think it was like the day before you started all of this.
About 3-4 days before, you and I both did a show on, we did a show on SBS together, and I told Libbi that I was going to have the gastric banding, which is what I did. I was very upfront I was having that done. And you, like a lot of friends, were concerned.
Yeah, I was, because I wasn't sure whether or not it was just like a remedy without dealing with the head stuff that causes you to overeat, I guess. That was what we were talking about.
Yeah, what I've found is that as the weight loss has gone on, the head stuff has followed the weight loss. I'm much happier, obviously, with who I am right now, and intend to stay this way.
Mikey, just explain how the gastric banding works, and then let me recover a little.
Okay,
because I feel like I'm sitting next to George bloody Clooney.
Look, basically what it is there's a band that sits around the top part of your stomach, obviously inside, and there's a little tube and a port, which is just under there. Now, depending on how much silicone they put in that port, the band is tightened or released. We've all heard of the old stomach stapling. Well, this is a far more advanced, more recent process that it's done laparoscopically. The scars are one little scar there and a couple of little nicks there, which look like the cat's had a go at you. And what happens is you just become pleasantly full after a smaller portion of food. And that's one of the problems people have. People think that people who are morbidly overweight, and let's face it, this is not a surgery for people who want to lose, 20 kilos for Christmas. It's people who are looking at health risks, which I was at 150 kilograms. It's not that you're hungry all the time, but you have no concept of feeling full.
Well, that's interesting, because you just sort of lose the ability to listen to your body, I guess.
That's exactly right. In fact, you train your body. I mean, Libbi and I have gone out on many lunches, and we'd go and have a long, big lunch.
That was many years ago, before Jenny came into my life.
And, but I'd go home and have, I was me and my nephew, I'd go home and have toast when I got home for lunch. I had no concept of being full, and I was good.
But Mikey, sorry. Mikey, I mean,
get your hand off his thigh.
Sorry, I can't help myself. Gastric banding is really extreme. Did you try, I guess, more traditional methods? I mean, Libbi and I lost through dieting.
Obviously, I've spent my adult life gaining and losing weight. I was one of those people. It was cyclical. In fact, the year before, I'd lost and gained 25 kilos within a year, and I'd done that year in, year out. Yeah, as I said, it's not. It's a way of dealing with morbid obesity, not just people who want to lose weight. You have to have a certain body mass index before the surgeon will do it, and you also have to, have counselling, which I found helpful. But the most important thing I found too was exercising. Personal, you're not going to believe this, darling. I actually did the North Bondi to Bronte run.
Oh my God, you ran!
Wow! And you've been married to your wife Laura how long now?
We've been together for about 11 years, married for 8 years. God, I always forget. And which has been I couldn't have done it without her. Her support's been amazing, and I mean it's been especially nice because. Well, I was 125 kilos when I met her, and I was 125 kilos when we got married, and she's seen me at 150 kilos, and she's never seen me below 125. So at 88, I finally feel like I'm almost good looking enough to deserve her.
Mikey, but is that why perhaps because you haven't had children yet, have you been waiting until
No, that's a totally separate issue.
Oh, sorry.
That's fine, that's fine. But so, it was just reached the point where it was just slowing my life down. It was absolutely, it was. I mean, when you're up to 150, it's quite debilitating.
But Mikey, you don't get to be 150 just from, overeating because you haven't got the discipline not to eat. I guess anyone watching or who's got a family member that does have the same issue Like, it starts in childhood, doesn't it?
Well, it's
And do you work out what you're eating for? Because isn't that the first step, like knowing why you eat?
No, I was just a fat bastard.
But did you come from a fat family?
No, both my parents were very fit. Look, my mother did send me to Weight Watchers when I was 10, which probably in hindsight was not a wise move, but I take full responsibility for my adult obesity. I think it was the point you were making earlier, Libby, it was a lack of consequence. The brain didn't realise that the food going in the mouth was making the stomach and the man boobs and the thighs much bigger. I couldn't get my head around that. And now I can. I eat like a French woman. I eat 3 small meals a day.
You probably weigh the same as a French.
And I'm constantly surrendering to Germans, so it's fine.
And Mikey, how does it change the way, like just pragmatically, like how you feel about yourself? Trying on clothes that actually fit and,
well,
you know.
Okay, I had a moment the first time I actually went into anything other than a big men's store to buy a pair of jeans. So normally when I went to the big men's store, I went to the big section of the big men's store. I was in a rather upmarket design place, and a sales assistant came up to me and I had a panic attack and ran out. And I actually had to phone Laura and say, what do I do? I've never had someone come at me with a tape measure before.
Isn't it weird when someone says, can I help you? And you can actually say, actually, yes.
Yeah. They don't need two. But...
You normally to measure before they'd have to get a friend and throw it over.
Does it change career opportunities?
Look, you
not
know,
with radio, obviously,
no,
because they can't see you. But
because
people treat you differently.
Yeah, with television, I was actually told by some people not to have the surgery done because I had an image that, I was a fat, jolly guy. And
yeah.
And you'd be a dead fat, jolly guy if you didn't do something.
That's exactly right, mate. Exactly right.
So, Mikey, you're also a clown doctor. What is this clown doctor ambassador?
Basically, the clown doctors do incredible work. If you've ever been to a children's hospital, they'll say laughter's the best medicine. It's a very stressful time for the kids, and the clown doctors go in and they help relieve that stress. They spend time with the kids, they relax them. It's a really important thing. And so there are various fundraising things during the year, and I help out when I can.
I'm so glad that you're still a thin, funny bastard.
Oh, thanks, honey.
Thanks, Mikey.
So proud of you, Mikey. Mikey Robins, thank you so much for joining us. Thanks, Mikey. Celebrity dirt right after the break. Please don't go away.
We won't know definitely until we get you all dressed up in a room together with all the other people and on TV. Because if by some chance it should turn out that you are not the best, we all want to see the look on your face when you get the news.